This is the guided tour of Macintosh. If you've set up your Macintosh as shown in the unpacking and setup instructions, please find the disk with the title, A Guided Tour of Macintosh, and insert it into the disk drive below the screen. Put it in with the metal end first and the label up. Push it all the way in. When you turn on your Macintosh next, it will take you through a series of short exercises that'll help you master the mouse and the few skills you need to get the most out of your Macintosh. Please stop your tape recorder now and turn on your Macintosh by reaching to the left of the back and flipping the power switch up. Start your tape recorder again when you're finished with the mouse exercises. If you have already done the mouse exercises and clicked on Continue at the very end, your screen should be displaying some boxes with different titles. This is the guided tour screen. On the left of the guided tour screen, there are several titles, one for each part of this guided tour. At the bottom right is one that says, I'm ready to stop. Clicking on I'm ready to stop will eject the disk out of the disk drive. You'll do that at the end or when you want to take a long break from your Macintosh. At the top right is a box that says Mousing Around. Clicking on Mousing Around will take you through the mouse exercises as many times as you wish until you know how to use the mouse. If you would like to go through Mousing Around again, stop your tape recorder and start it again when you've finished. You're ready to start the guided tour. Each of the titles you see on the left is a short session playing back a series of actions on your Macintosh. This tape will tell you how to use your Macintosh, and the Macintosh itself will show you what the tape is describing. During these sessions, the Macintosh won't respond to the mouse or the keyboard. The actions you see on your screen were carried out and saved on your Macintosh beforehand. While these recorded actions are played back, your Macintosh cannot detect any present actions from the mouse or the keyboard. If you want to practice the actions you see and hear about, just wait till the end of the session. At the end of each short session, you can either stop your tape recorder to practice what you've learned or continue to the next session. You can also repeat the session if you like. To start the first session, without touching the mouse button, position the pointer to point inside the box that says Show me my electronic desk. Don't click the mouse button yet. In a moment, you'll hear a series of 3 tones. By clicking the mouse button as soon as you hear the 3rd tone, you'll synchronize the actions on your Macintosh to the words on your tape. If you make a mistake in synchronizing the two, don't panic. Don't try to stop the Macintosh. Let it run through the session. It is short, and you'll soon be back to your guided tour screen. Rewind your tape back to the 3 tones for that particular session and get set to synchronize again. Ready to start on the first session? Be sure the pointer is pointing inside the box that says, "Show me my electronic desk." Listen to the 3 tones now. Without moving the mouse, click the mouse button as soon as you hear the 3rd tone.
As the user of a Macintosh, you now have a new kind of workspace, your electronic desktop. The gray area you see on your screen is your desktop. This desktop, like any other, has some useful and familiar objects on it. These objects have names, but more importantly, they also have pictures above their names. These pictures, called icons, make your electronic desktop very easy to work with. This is the icon for the disk you put in your disk drive. This is a trash can where you'll throw away what you don't need. And this is for copying from one disk to another. Your electronic desktop makes possible some things that you couldn't do otherwise. Some of what you can do is in menus at the top of your screen. The words you see at the top in the menu bar are titles of menus. To look at one of the menus, you point to its title, press the mouse button, and hold it. The commands appear instantaneously, almost as if you've pulled down a window shade. This is why they are called pull-down menus. They stay hidden until you need them, and they go away when you're done with them. For almost everything you do on your new desk, you go through 2 steps. First, you select the object that you want to do something with by clicking on it. You know that it's selected because it's highlighted. Next, you go to a menu you need, hold down the mouse button, and choose a command to act on the selected object. To choose a command, you point to the title of the menu, press and hold the mouse button, and drag to the command you need. Notice how the commands highlight as you point to them. By letting go of the mouse button when a command is highlighted, you choose that command to act on your selection. Some of the commands are dimmed. Those are the ones that aren't appropriate at the moment. After looking at a menu, if you decide not to use any of the commands in it, drag off the menu and let go of the mouse button. The object we've selected is the disk. Let's drag to open. Your Macintosh opens a window showing you the contents of that disk. We'll look at the contents shortly. Let's first reverse the previous action. Go to the File menu and choose Close this time to close the window. The open and close commands are central to the way you'll work with your Macintosh. To start using an application program, you'll select it and open it. To stop working on a document you've created with any of the applications, you'll save it and close it. Let's now look at the contents of that disk. What's on the disk is again represented with icons. The hand in action represents an application. The sheet of paper stands for documents you've created. The empty folder provides you with folders to put your documents in. And the programs your Macintosh uses to do its work are represented with miniature Macintoshes. Select one by clicking. Now point to the selected object, press the mouse button, and drag it somewhere else in the window. Select another one and move that one too. You can organize what you have on your disk in the way that's most comfortable to you. If you click a second time on an object right after selecting it, you'll open it. This is a shortcut for opening. Don't try to use the shortcut yet. If you open an object without intending to, just close the window by choosing Close from the File menu and Continue. You can also select more than one object at a time. Position the pointer outside the objects you want to select, hold down the mouse button, and drag. A rectangular outline lets you know which objects you're including. As soon as you release the mouse button, all of the included objects are selected. Now point to any of the selected ones, press and drag, and you move all of them together. To change the selection, just click on the next object you want to select. The previous objects are automatically deselected. You can also deselect your last selection by clicking anywhere outside the icons. We've come to the end of this session. To go back to the guided tour screen, there's a menu entitled Training with a single command named Quit. It's there so that you can quit your desktop and go back to the guided tour screen anytime you want. This is a special command on your guided tour disk. It doesn't appear on your system disk. Let's choose the Quit command from the Training menu and go back to where we started.
The next guided tour begins in a few seconds. If you want to take a break now or practice what you've just learned, stop the tape recorder at the end of the next instruction. If you want to repeat the session you just had, rewind the tape back to where the 3 tones are for that session and start over. To get back to the electronic desktop and practice what you just saw, point to the box on the right-hand side which says, "Let me use my Macintosh." Be sure it's pointing inside that box. After you stop the tape recorder, click the mouse button without moving the mouse. This will take you to the electronic desktop. To get back to the guided tour screen, choose Quit from the Training menu. You can stop the tape recorder now and start it again when you're ready to start the next session. Ready for the next tour? If you haven't quit the desktop, do it now to get back to the guided tour screen. Choose Quit from the Training menu. On your guided tour screen, please position the pointer to point to What's the Finder? Be sure you're pointing inside the box that says What's the Finder? Next, listen to the 3 tones and click the mouse button as soon as you hear the 3rd tone.
The Finder is an application on your Macintosh that helps you organize all other applications and the documents you create with them. The Finder is there every time you start your Macintosh and every time you go from one application to another. With the Finder, you open and close the various applications you'll use on your Macintosh, and you manipulate the documents you create with these applications. There's a document on this disk named Example. Let's say you plan to make some changes on this document. But before you make the changes, you want to file a copy of it as it stands now. Select the document and choose the Duplicate command from the File menu. A copy of that document now appears right next to it. You would like to rename the copy and call it Old. You can change the name of the document that's selected by just typing its new name using the keyboard. Next, you would like to put the old example in a folder. Select Empty Folder and choose Duplicate again. You now have another empty folder. Move it somewhere else and type a new name for it. Examples. Now select the document named Old. Drag it and drop it into the folder named Examples. Your old example is now tucked away in that folder. To check this, you can select that folder and open it. It contains the document we just put in it. Besides duplicating, renaming, and filing documents, the Finder also helps you throw away unwanted documents or folders. You do that by selecting the document or the folder that contains it and dragging it until it is on top of the trash can. That document with its folder is now in the trash can. Open the trash can and you'll find it there. You can rescue an object from the trash can by selecting it while the trash can window is open and by dragging it back to your disk window. What you leave in the trash can will be disposed of permanently if you open a document or application or if you eject the disk from the disk drive. You can also ask your Macintosh to dispose of what's in the trash can by choosing the Empty Trash command from the Special menu. Your Macintosh will warn you that it's about to discard what's in the trash can. You should be very careful before you put any object in the trash can. Be especially careful not to throw away what was on your disk when you started it. With the Finder, you can also get information on any object. Select the object you're interested in and choose Get Info from the File menu. With this command, the Finder calls up another window which has some information about that object. The window also has a box for comments. This is where you can type your pertinent comments about that object to help you with your work later. A blinking vertical bar indicates where text is inserted. This is called the insertion point. What you type is inserted at this point. If you make a mistake, use the backspace key to go back and retype. You don't need to use the return key at the end of the line. The space for comments is limited. If you want to delete or move a large part of your comment, point to the beginning of that part, hold down the mouse button, and drag through it. Once it's selected, go to the Edit menu and choose Cut. This command will place the selection you've cut onto a clipboard, where it will be held temporarily. If you wish to paste what you just cut somewhere else, click where you want to paste it and choose the Paste command from the Edit menu. What you cut is pasted in its new position. This is how you'll enter and change text on all of your Macintosh applications. In learning to use the Finder, you're learning not only how the Finder itself works and what it does, but also how other applications work. Let's close this information window now, either the way you already know, by choosing Close from the File menu, or by clicking in the box on the upper left-hand corner. This is the Close box. The Close box is a shortcut that does exactly the same thing as the Close command, if you click on it. Next, select several objects and choose Get Info again. The Finder will open information windows for all of them stacked up very nicely. You can close each window after you've seen the information by clicking on the Close box in the upper left-hand corner. You've now seen the Finder at work with some of its most useful functions. With these and other features, you'll soon manage and organize your applications and the documents that you've created yourself. Let's choose the Quit command from the training menu next, so you can get back to your guided tour screen and do what you just learned yourself.
You can stop and practice now, or continue. If you stop and wish to experiment with the Finder, stop the tape recorder, point to Let me use my Macintosh, and click. While you're doing what you've just learned, please throw away any new documents or folders and empty the trash before you go back to your guided tour. If you create new documents or folders and leave them on your desktop, your tour program will be very confused about where those documents came from, and it will stop. When you're finished practicing, choose Quit from the training menu and get back to the guided tour screen. Are you ready for the next guided tour? On the guided tour screen, please position the pointer to point to Why do I have Windows? Be sure you're pointing to Why do I have Windows? Now listen to the 3 tones and click the mouse button as soon as you hear the 3rd tone.
Let's open that disk one more time. The window through which you see the contents covers only part of the gray desktop, letting you see what else is on your desktop. Let's select the empty folder next and open that one too. A new window opens on top of the old one, showing you the contents of empty folder. While you're looking at what you have in empty folder, you may want to remember what you had on your disk. By clicking on the visible part of the other window, you bring that window to the front. The disk window is the active one now, and the folder window is inactive and hidden behind the disk window. To see the folder window again, point to the size box in the lower right-hand corner of this window. With this box, you control the size of the window. By holding down the mouse button and dragging the box, you can actually reduce or expand any window. This uncovers the folder window. You now can activate it by clicking where it is visible. Change the size of that one, too. When you have more than one window open, you know which one is the active one by looking at the title bar. The title bar of the active window is highlighted. By letting you have overlapping windows, your Macintosh makes the best use of your electronic desktop and can show the contents of several objects at once. You can also move these windows around. Point anywhere in the title bar of the active window, press and drag, and you can move the window where you want it to be. Activate the other window next and move that one too by pointing in the title bar and dragging. To put away the folder window, first make it the active window by clicking anywhere in it and then click on the close box. Windows have another very important role on your Macintosh. They let you view something larger than the screen by letting you scroll it. The gray bars on the right side and at the bottom of your window are scroll bars. At each end of each scroll bar, there is an arrow. Point to the arrow pointing down and click, and you move the window down a little at a time to see what else you have on that disk. Point to the arrow at the top and click, and you can move the window up. There's a box in the scroll bar which moves up or down depending on the direction of the scroll. This is called the scroll box. You can also scroll by pointing in the gray area of the scroll bar and clicking. This moves you up or down faster than the individual clicks on the arrows. An even faster way to scroll is to point to the scroll box itself and drag it up or down. With the scroll bar at the bottom, you can do everything you just learned horizontally. You can scroll to the right or to the left. You can scroll fast or you can scroll slow. You now know why you have Windows. With Windows, you can view long documents by just scrolling at the speed you want. You can also examine the contents of various objects simultaneously. In fact, when you start using the various applications on your Macintosh, you'll find that you always work on your document through a window.
The next guided tour begins in a few seconds. If you want to take a break now or imitate what you just saw and experiment with the tools you've just learned about, stop the tape recorder at the end of the next instruction. To get to your desktop, point to Let me use my Macintosh and click the mouse button. Stop the tape recorder now and start it when you're ready for more. Ready for the next guided tour? Please position the pointer to point to what else is in the menus. Be sure it is pointing to what else is in the menus. Now listen to the 3 tones and click the mouse button as soon as you hear the 3rd tone.
Menu several times already. The commands in the File menu are very useful in opening documents, getting information about them, or filing them away. The File menu also has a print command. You can use this command when you have an Apple Image Writer printer attached to your Macintosh and when you want to get a printed copy of some document. And there's the eject command to eject the disk from the disk drive. You'll use this command on your system disk. You'll eject your guided tour disc by clicking I am ready to stop on the guided tour screen. In the View menu, there are commands which help you view the objects on your disc in a number of different ways. You can view them by icon as they are now, or by name as they will be next. Or you can view them by date, or by size. With the few objects we have here, this may not seem very important right now, but you'll appreciate it later when it helps you sort out and remember your numerous and scattered documents. The Finder and all other applications on your Macintosh also come equipped with a menu which has an apple as its title. This menu contains objects called desk accessories. You can choose these accessories to appear on your desktop on top of whatever you might have there. These include a clock. Choose clock and you have the date and the time displayed in a very elegant little clock. The Apple menu also has a calculator which works like any other calculator. You can have several desk accessories on top of any windows you may have open. But only one accessory is active at any time. You know which one is active by looking at the title bar. The title of the active one is highlighted. You activate the one you want just like the windows by clicking anywhere in it. You can also move these accessories around by pointing at the title bar of the active one and dragging. Again, just like the windows. And you can close them by clicking on the close box. Another desk accessory is the control panel, which helps you set your Macintosh to work just the way you would like it to. If you would like to change the volume of the warning beep, adjust it here. To change the pattern on your desktop, click on the dots here and then click on the desktop icon next to it. If you change your mind, click on the dots again and change it back. You can also change the time by clicking on it and adjusting it up or down. And you can change the date the same way. The desk accessories on your Macintosh are both useful and fun. Experiment with them and discover on your own what very useful tasks your Macintosh is capable of. We'll quit this part of the tour now and go back to the guided tour screen so that you can do just that.
If you would like to practice what you've learned, please click on Let Me Use My Macintosh. Are you ready for the last session of your tour? Please position the pointer to point to Time to Play the Maze. Listen to the 3 tones and click the mouse button as soon as you hear the 3rd tone.
You've learned almost everything you need to know about your Macintosh. As you start using the various application programs on your Macintosh, the Finder will become not only your launch pad for these applications, but also your home base where you'll keep track of what you need and discard what you don't need. The contents of your application disks will vary, of course, but the method of using them will always be the same. After you open your disk, you select the application and open it. Let's use the maze game called Amazing as an example. Select it and open it. Your screen displays a maze. In it, there is a circle and a square. Starting at the circle, make your way through the maze to the square. You move the mouse without touching the mouse button. A dark strip traces your steps. If you go the wrong way, just go back and the distance you came is undone. When you reach the square, you've solved the maze. Let's look at what menus the maze has. There's just one with a few commands. Choose the Skill command. This command brings up a dialog box which lets you choose the level of difficulty you would like in the maze. You can have very simple mazes or very complex ones. You choose the level by pointing to it and clicking. Change it to the second level. Once you've decided on the level, click on the box that says New Game, and your Macintosh displays a maze at that level of difficulty. You can continue choosing new mazes at that level by choosing New from the menu. You can also have your Macintosh solve the maze for you by choosing Answer. After you see the solution, click anywhere on the screen and the solution disappears. When you're tired of solving mazes, choose Quit and you're out of the game and back to the Finder. We've come to the end of the guided tour of Macintosh. You can keep this tour disk in the disk drive and practice what you've learned some more by clicking on Let me use my Macintosh. Or you can eject this disk and start on one of the application disks. To eject the disk when you're using the system disk, use the Eject command from the File menu. Select the icon for the disk that you want to eject and choose Eject. To eject the guided tour disk, let's first go back to the tour screen by choosing Quit from the Training menu. On the guided tour screen, point to the box that says, I am ready to stop, and click. This will eject the guided tour disk out of the disk drive.
This guided tour has touched on the most important features of your electronic desktop. To read about these features and about others that we haven't covered here, please go to your Macintosh book for some very enjoyable and informative reading. If you wish to repeat this guided tour from the beginning, you don't need to rewind the cassette tape. The guided tour of Macintosh is repeated on side B of this tape.